Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuff and things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Maybe he tried to call time and didn't get time.
James Dean certainly looked like he was ready to throw on Craig Alvarez. I mean, he was hot from the get-go. And Albie is ejected for the first time as a big league manager in his 9th game. Blaze thought either he had called time or Ashcraft wasn't going to be able to pitch yet. He just dropped the bat.
Yeah, that's courtesy of Mass and
Our hero fighting for us.
by the way, I mean, let's just be honest about it. Let's not pussyfoot around it. We have a major crisis on our hands. A lot of people would say, don't make this much about it at this point. It's not worth it, but I would say I'm in full-blown panic mode.
I can tell, yeah.
Drew Forrester could win our bracket contest
Oh,
tonight.
I didn't even know that. Well, I just knew I wasn't going to win, so I just kind of...
We have a major crisis on our hands.
Who does he have? He has to have Michigan, right?
No, he has UConn.
Really?
He's the only person that has UConn.
In the entire thing.
Drew Forrester could win our bracket contest. Good guy John Heberlin, noted UMBC fan, who we found out years later, he and I lived literally in the same building our freshman year at UMBC, and yet didn't know each other at all. John Heberlin would win if Michigan wins.
Oh, I could win 4. I could be 4th if Michigan wins.
That would be neat. You know what that would get you?
4th place?
Exactly right. Put that on a T-shirt. That's almost as good as that over 4.5 bet that you had on Maryland football.
So good.
Drew Forrester could win the bracket contest. That might break me. Like, that might be... Like, when I tell people...
Geddy Lee. Who's Geddy Lee? Is that a golfer?
Oh, God. It's the singer of Rush. That's really bad.
How's that
Really
bad?
bad.
I'm supposed to know who the lead singer of Rush is?
Very famous. He couldn't be more famous.
I bet if... I mean, okay.
God.
As anyone born after the year 2000, I bet
That's
has
not something
no
you should be
clue
proud of.
who
That's
Geddy
not
Rush
something
is.
that you should be like, we all know nothing. Neato, gang.
I mean, I know some Rush songs, yeah.
Drew Forrester could win the bracket contest.
Good for Drew.
I mean, did we just cancel it then? Like, did we just never do it again if Drew Forrester wins? When I say to you people every year, what do you mean, you people? I mean, you people. That you don't need to know anything about college basketball in order to get in. Hello.
What do you mean? He hosts a basketball segment each week.
Yeah. Ask him right now to name a UConn player. There's a small chance he says Dan Orlovsky. He might remember that, like, Rip Hamilton went to UConn. Maybe.
I'd be surprised that he would know Orlovsky went to UConn. I guess Coach Orlovsky's on TV all the time.
Yeah, he's on TV a lot. Might remember that Ray Allen went to UConn. Maybe. But I can't guarantee that either. Holy hell. How is this guy a game away from winning the bracket contest? I've never rooted for Michigan before in my life. And had no intent to ever. But I kind of have no choice at this point. I'm going to have to be a Michigan man. You call Ottenheimer, you let him know I'm a Michigan man tonight. What do you have to do to be a Michigan man? I mean, other than stalk your
Okay,
girlfriend who was actually working for you, and how do you become a Michigan man?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you got to just start
wear,
yelling.
Wear khakis and drink a lot of milk.
Right.
Is that
Or
the
yell
way that you
go
become a
blue.
Michigan man? I got nothing. Oh, what a miserable.
Hate
scenario.
Ohio State, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, okay.
That's easy, I
That's
guess.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that just means that you're an American, really. God. You were saying something about the Orioles? Because
they lost.
My attention has been completely shattered by the fact that Drew Forrester could win our bracket contest. God damn it. What? This isn't the country I want my kids to grow up in. That's just the way that I... Coming up on the program today, Ryan Ripken will join us. We'll talk to him about whether or not we should be panicking.
About UConn potentially winning.
About a 1-5 week for the O's. Max Watkinson, Baltimore native, St. Paul's alum, and Loyola goalkeeper. If you missed it on Saturday, they had a really good win over BU. But notably, this young man made 17 saves and scored a goal against BU's vaunted 10-man right. You know, going into that game, BU had held opponents to an under 70% clearing rate for the season.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't just they were the best ride in the country. It was with a bullet. And Loyola methodically picked them apart on Saturday. So, massive win for the Greyhounds. And we'll talk to Max Watkinson about scoring a goal for the first time in his career on top of the excellent season that he's had between the pipes. And so all that coming up, we'll do 3 up and 3 down. It was much easier to do one side of that this week. Way easier to come up with the downs than it was to come up with the ups. But we're heroes, so we'll do it nonetheless. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. The Mania ends tonight. Where else would you want to be to watch a championship get handed out than inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel? 100-foot media wall, great food and drink specials. Plus, they've got interactive opportunities during the games for you to win prizes. Go hang out tonight. You will be so glad that you did. Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Your question, or the talking point is this just the start of the season? There's going to be a stretch during the year where a team's going to go 1-5, or is it a sign of real problems, systemic problems for the Orioles that will ultimately doom them? And my answer is, I have no earthly idea.
Well, what are we doing here?
Sorry. I wish. That's the question that I'm going to ask other people this week. Well, I mean, hopefully they go out and sweep the White Sox. And if they get swept by the White Sox, then we know the answer.
Well, the White Sox good. Maybe a good ball club. Pirates might be a good ball club.
Pirates, I can listen to that argument. They might be a good ball club. White Sox.
They got Austin Hayes. They got Sean Burke.
They do have Austin Hayes.
Others, I think.
Mm-hmm. Others, I think. Yeah.
Miguel Vargas.
Others, I think.
Oh, the Japanese guy, Murakami.
All right. Yeah, they do have him. The thought that I had yesterday,
I think they swept Toronto, didn't they?
and it's tough because you don't want to pile on Jeremiah Jackson, because Jeremiah Jackson, for the most part, does his job, right? Like, he's one of the guys you can kind of rely on for what it is that you're asking him to do. But on the bunt, where he didn't touch the bag yesterday, that was the moment where I kind of felt broken about this is the type of stuff that made me say, I need a hellfire and brimstone veteran manager. There was the reason why I thought they needed to find someone who had done it before and that had some cachet and carried a big stick. And we tried to sell ourselves on, hey, a first-time manager could demand accountability too. And, again, Craig Albernez has said all of the right things to this point. I have no reason to think that Craig Albernez might not be a really good manager. And maybe, Pete Alonso can help demand that these guys, this isn't acceptable. But the defense has been lackluster, to say the least. And some of that is the limitations of the guys they have out there. I mean, the one that Kobe Mayo yesterday, some of that you're going to just live with, right? You're going to say, all right, you got a guy playing third base. It's not really a third baseman. Now he's got to start hitting. Like, that has to happen. I still think he's had some pretty good at-bats, but he's got to start hitting. But the defense on the whole just continues to be And that's the type of stuff all of the other things deal with. You can't fix that Chris Bassett stunk to this point this season. That's a different problem. But that, you would really like to hope would be left in the past. Like, that stuff's not going to continue. I don't want to pile on Jeremiah Jackson. Jeremiah Jackson isn't the problem, but how in the ever-loving F do you not have your foot on the base? I mean, how does that happen? Look, it was a goofy day. Then the ball that goes off Chris Bassett, right? Like, on Saturday, if your pitcher can just field the ball a little bit better, then... But do you really want to pile on a pitcher playing defense? That's... But it just feels like I've seen this before. And it's not okay. And that was where my hope was. You bring in a veteran manager this offseason, someone who's been there before, and it's not going to be okay. And there's going to be accountability that's going to be demanded from that guy on day one. And I understand, because the more I talk to people around baseball, that some of that just doesn't exist anymore. That it is a player's game, and that it is a general manager's game now. And the role of the manager almost anywhere is minimal. I don't know if there is a place where there's still hellfire and brimstone, and there's still accountability.
College baseball, I guess, right? Like,
I mean, it's kind of what Tony Vitello said, right?
Yeah.
Like, and people didn't like what he said, but Tony Vitello kind of made that point, right? What was the phrase that he used that got everybody all worked up about it? Oh, God. You can really get after him a little bit more or something like that. Tony Vitello quote about difference between college and MLB. Hang on.
When that was at the middle of last week?
Yeah, about that, right? Oh, damn it. Adapt coaching. So Tony Vitello, here's what
I got
it
ejected
was.
yesterday. I can't find the...
Hang on. I'm going to get it. Because this is the problem you have. I can't talk down to guys anymore. That was the quote that got everybody worked up. Tony Vitello said, I can't talk down to guys anymore. And everybody said, well, why are you talking down to college kids? And he probably could have said it in a better way. There's no doubt. But I think we all understand what he's saying. When you're dealing with millionaires, the hell do they care about what you have to say? You're a guy. So essentially, the GMs are just trying to find the guys that carry the biggest... you got the... Fine.
Yeah, it's like a minute long. I don't know if we want it.
I don't really care that much about Tony Vitello. But these millionaires are kind of saying back, like, dude, with all due respect, you're just the dude that's sitting here. You're not affecting our lives. You're not changing us. What do you know more about baseball than we do? What does Tony Vitello know more about baseball than Logan Webb? Which doesn't mean that he doesn't, but he hasn't accomplished that much. So instead, general managers are hiring managers that are just an extension of their philosophies. Do you believe in the data and the science of baseball? And will you make decisions based on the science of baseball? And if you do, then we want you. You coming in here and lighting a fire under the boys' ass, that doesn't That's not really baseball anymore. That's not the way this stuff works. I would like for that to be the case because it feels like right now is one of those times where the boys need to have a fire lit under their ass. This isn't okay. This is where you want Pete Alonso to come in and call the meeting on the mound himself and say, shut it the F down. I said at the beginning of the year that I didn't believe this team could bottom out because I believed that the 1 through 5 of the pitching staff was too good for it to bottom out. This isn't bottoming out, but this can extend to bottoming out. This is how bottoming out starts. It starts by you going 1-5 in a week. Now, it can go one of two ways. Either that can be solved quickly, and you can forget about it, or you can somehow lose 2 out of 3 in Chicago. Win the night, then go lose tomorrow in kind of perplexing fashion, and then you lose on Wednesday, and suddenly you're staring down bottoming out. And that's what you wanted to believe, or I at least wanted to believe, that the pitching staff was too good from 1-5 to allow that to happen. Well, Kyle Bradish certainly hasn't kept up his end of the bargain. Remember, Kyle Bradish was the guy that, yeah, I mean, you can bring in Ranger Suarez, but truth be told, he's not better than Kyle Bradish, which was always absurd from the people that just wanted to justify why the Orioles shouldn't spend money on pitching. But even if you didn't think like that, this is not what you're supposed to be getting from Kyle Bradish 2 starts into the season against 2 lineups that are not murderer's row. I don't want to take anything away from the Pirates, who I just said I think could be a good team. And he made his first start against Twins. It wasn't even against the Rangers. The Twins aren't even a good lineup. Kyle Bradish not holding up his end of the bargain, period. Chris Bassett obviously not holding up his end of the bargain. Disastrous. I thought this team couldn't bottom out because I thought those guys were too good. Now, it's 2 starts, and I recognize that. I'm not going to pretend like this defines what Kyle Bradish or Chris Bassett are going to be. But undoubtedly, if they pitch like this for extended periods, you can bottom out. And again, every team is going to go through a week where they go 1-5. That's going to happen to everyone. Maybe not the Dodgers, but maybe.
I'll bet against it. Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for them to go 1-5 at any point. But everybody else is going to go through a week this season where they go 1-5. That is baseball. But you can be buried by this. It can become overwhelming. It can bottom out. And it is critical immediately. You don't get to say, well, it's tough because they don't have Jackson Holiday, or it's tough because you don't have Jordan Westberg. Tough tits. You don't get to say, hey, maybe we'll get those guys back. If you're buried before then, it's going to be irrelevant when those guys come back. And I guess with Westberg, because Lord knows. My first takeaway, if I was writing a column, would be, I don't know that if Buck Showalter was managing this team, that they would definitively be better so far.
Right. Are they going to be 4-5? Like, what's,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But my first blush is these lapses are the type of things that happen when you have a manager trying to feel his way into doing the job. And this team needed more urgency. There needed to be more urgency, particularly because of how last year went, that we have to start fast. We have to make this work. And I think that was the disappointment that surrounded not going to the top of the rotation. Because, again, maybe Kyle Bradish will feel his way in as the season goes on. And, hey, he hasn't thrown many innings so far, so they've got that going for him. Maybe, I mean, have we gotten definitive update on Zach Eflin yet?
No. Apparently, we're still waiting on the second opinion.
Going to get the second opinion,
which we don't even know. We don't even know what the first
opinion was. Yeah. Correct. You and I don't. Somebody does. But watching it, has made me feel like this is why I wanted a veteran manager. This is why I wanted someone who's been around the block. This is why I wanted somebody that could come in immediately. There wasn't going to be a learning curve. He wasn't going to have to feel his way into the job. That on day one, you could demand something. The people that always want to fire someone, stop. Now, you guys know how I feel. This is how baseball works. Like, I, a year ago, did not feel the way about Brandon Hyde that you guys did. I did not put that on Brandon Hyde. I absolutely put it far more on the front office and their dereliction of duty going into the 2025 season. It's unfathomable that was acceptable to anyone involved in the organization, the offseason that they had. I put that on them. The Orioles, it's the way it works, right? Like, the general manager gets to make the decision. He's at the top, so he gets to fire the manager. The manager can't turn around and fire the general manager and say, dude, what the F was this? This? You think Tomo Sagano is the answer for how we're going to make up for Corbin Burns?
Had a good start yesterday against the Phillies.
Good for Tomo.
In Colorado.
As it turns out, he was helpful as the year went on. I have no negative feelings towards Tomo. It's not Tomo Sagano's fault that the Orioles didn't do more pitching-wise. But the manager doesn't get to fire the general manager. The general manager gets to fire the manager. And those of you that are now pivoting to, well, now you got to fire Michael Elias. Well, look, at some point, if this were to continue, that conversation will be had. But my God, that's where I get to step in and say, settle down. Settle down. You are 9 games into a season. Stop. It ain't good. It's not a good 9 games. There's only one team in baseball with fewer wins than the Orioles right now, which is kind of wild too, right? Like, that's also kind of
good parity, yeah.
Yeah, right?
We don't need a salary cap.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that there's only one 2-win team, and that's the Red Sox, so even better.
Those suckers got Ranger Suarez, too.
Yeah, right? And those losers. A couple of responses. Let me get in from John in Little Rock. Meet the old boss, same as meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Channeling the Who, related to the changes in the. By the way, the way that it works with the pool, I think it's 320 points for winning the championship. The championship is the most important thing. Like, it's why when people panic about the first round of their bracket, I always say, stop it. Stop it.
Unless your champion loses, right?
Yes, correct. And nobody's champion lost in the first round this year. The championship is the most important thing in the bracket contest. And he can get 320 points. He would be in first. Timothy, this isn't on Albarnez, it's on Elias. I can see how you would blame Albarnez for the bad defense, but there are bigger issues than that, and those don't fall on him. I don't inherently disagree with that. And again, it's not really that I'm passing a judgment on Craig Albarnez. He's been a manager for 9 games. I have no clue what kind of manager Craig Albarnez is going to be. We have nowhere near anything that would resemble a sample size. But urgency was the part. To me, it's not about Craig Albarnez. It's about the urgency that I felt that this team couldn't find themselves in the position that they were in last year. They did not have room for someone to learn on the job. When Griffin inevitably quits and goes to become the play-by-play guy of the Lynchburg Hillcats or whatever, I'm going to be screwed because the next guy's going to have to learn on the job. I mean, to be fair, sometimes we're still learning on the job. To be fair. But I'm going to be screwed because that guy's going to have to learn on the job. The Orioles didn't have the luxury of learning on the job. It's too important that they got off to a serious start. Because the demons of what happened a year ago are real. Yes, there's always a team that we bury after a month into the season that ends up, holy crap, look at what they did the rest of the year. But it's rare. That can't be the plan. And to me, it required more seriousness than that. The defensive lapses are the stuff that makes me say, I don't know. It might be that Craig Albernaz would say, my God, we've worked on this every day. We've spent 20 minutes with Jeremiah Jackson every day about bunt coverage. I don't know, but it's totally possible he would say that. It's more about accountability. It's more about, I just believe that a veteran manager would be in a better place immediately to demand accountability. And I pray that Craig Albernaz becomes Earl Weaver. And I can't tell you that he won't. He might. But my gut, my first blush was, this is why I wanted it to be a veteran manager. Because this stuff can't keep happening. You're already limited. You are limited in your outfield defense, period. Limited. And you got to overcome that somehow. This stuff can't happen. The pitching, obviously, has been a nightmare. A nightmare. And that, I think, is a bigger disappointment because given what they did, again, they didn't have Framber Valdez, they didn't have Ranger Suarez, but you just thought 1 through 5, they couldn't be this bad. And that has been alarming. Now, I mean, Shane Baz had a good start on Saturday. That was encouraging. Trevor Rogers, God bless him.
Thank God.
God bless him. But, John says we were all promised by the local experts that Albie was a fiery guy and would get the boys motivated. Is that?
Well, that's what he tried to do. In the
I just don't know how
second
anybody would know
or third
that.
inning.
I mean, he's never been a manager before. I mean, I'm not saying there weren't people that were saying that. I just don't know who would. When anybody would ask me, what do you expect of Craig Albernaz, my answer would be, I have no idea. Like, you can't know that.
Yes, you can know if he's a guy that just chirps a lot, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
mean,
that's-
sure. Or you can know,
yeah.
again, what I could gauge from him is that everybody loves him. He was a very popular figure with everyone around baseball. And I could gauge that from the people that I talked to, that you could expect that he could get a little bit more out of catchers. I mean, certainly
Adley.
offensively, Adley's been a lot better.
He had a good throw on, I don't know, at some point last week.
Yeah. Basayo, learning on the job. A lot of that.
But that was kind of what we expected with him, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not down on Basayo yet. I mean, obviously the one hit he had was,
Yeah.
I don't think it's landed yet. I'm not down on Basayo yet. I just you'd like it if he had a nice 10 for 20 week, something that you just made you say, all right, this is the guy. This is the guy.
Or we'll just keep hitting 450-foot homers.
Yeah, do a lot of that. We'll take that. We'll come back in. We'll get Ryan Ripken's thoughts on what he's seen so far, and I'm going to guess that he's going to tell you not to panic. If I know Ryan, that's what he's going to say. But we'll let him say his piece when we come back in. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Hey O's fans, kick off your weekend with Party at the Yard, presented by Coors Light. Every Friday home game, Hit the Coors Light Roof Deck and Legends Park for happy hour featuring $5 12-ounce Coors Lights when gates open until 1 hour after first pitch. Enjoy live music, photo ops, and entertainment all night long. And welcome a special guest splasher who will keep the good vibes going in the Bird Bath. Party with the O's on Fridays. Visit Orioles.com/party at the yard.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Dave Ginsburg chats with Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. about his life now at the age of 65, his role with the Orioles ownership group, and much more. Also inside, Bill Ordine helps us learn more about new Ravens head coach Jesse Minter. Luke Jackson finds out about new Orioles slugger Pete Alonso from those who have played with him, and we meet college lacrosse players from programs all across the area. Pressbox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
March Mania is on at Live Casino. And you can get a front row seat for all the action at Sports and Social. Raise your game with massive wall-to-wall TVs. And raise a cheer with your favorite beers, cocktails, and an all-star menu. Best of all, you could win huge prizes every game. Don't get benched. Book your table at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson will be talking baseball with you coming up a little bit later on today, as they do every Monday. Today, 5 o'clock, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Stan shows, as always, are brought to you by Warnk & Law and the Costas Inn, with 2 great locations, the original in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium at the Grandstand. Join Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson today at 5. Let's keep talking about what was obviously a brutal week for the Birds, 1-5 week, including being swept by the Pirates this weekend in Pittsburgh. Joining us now, you know him from the Ryan Ripken Show and The Fan and Masson, and I'm going to guess he's probably going to be like 20 other places during the course of the season. He's our friend Ryan Ripken, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How was your Easter?
What up, Glenn? It was good, actually. Was at a wedding, beautiful wedding. Had the weather on Saturday, not the weather Sunday, thank goodness, early in the day. But, yeah, it was great. How about you?
Oh, man, we had the whole family at our house. This is our one. Everybody's got to take turns hosting during the course of the year. And so we got Easter because we got a big property. We got a farm. So they for the kids, it's good to have more space to do an Easter egg hunt on, right? So It's a lot. Like, you get very stressed about it. Like, what did we forget about? Now, you mentioned the weather. Like, now what do we do? Do we have to move it inside? Do we have to do all that? And then you get there and everybody's there and you're just like, God, this is a great day. Like, I don't know why I was so stressed about this. Like, what a great day we had, man. We couldn't have been any better. So big pop all around in the Clark household yesterday. Could have gone for better results baseball-wise, though. Could have gone for that. I'll start broadly, and I'll allow you to say the thing that you always say, because I do recognize that it's only 9 games, and it is not worth panic about, but please go ahead and do the Ryan Ripken bit if you don't mind.
What, the bit about talking about the O's are fine?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Right,
what you're looking for?
please.
You know, the funny thing is, I didn't say I don't think I've really said it for the last year and a half, 2 years, which I guess in that case had been the truth, you know. But overall here, I got to come up with a different type of motto where it doesn't, you know, the whole phrase, right, isn't to say that everything's great, right? It's just we got to let this process play out. Through good, through thick and thin, it's got to play out. But, Glenn, I know why people feel the way that they do, and I completely understand it. And this wasn't just because of 1 year last year of the Orioles taking a step back. This has been 43 years of fans waiting for their team to take that step, you know? So it's a built-up feeling. And when the recency bias of last year is still in the mind, where the team got off to a slow start, and fans are going to go to that place, and I rightfully understand it. But as the baseball guy and looking at how this start to the season has gone, it does feel different to me than it did last year. And I still have a lot of hope and optimism that these guys are going to get it rolling. But obviously not the series that you won in Pittsburgh. You lose 2 one-run games, and then the last one, you blink and you're down 6. You know, so I still love a lot of things that the team has, but no doubt, you know, they got some things they got to clean up fundamentally. Albie talked about it, and that's just the facts. You know, if they are a little bit more fundamental, they probably win a game or 2 in Pittsburgh, but the reality is they weren't. And they lost all 3.
You know, Ryan, one of the things that I'd said this weekend that got way more traction on social media than I thought it was sort of a throwaway tweet, and it ended up getting a lot, was, and I think you and I had talked about it, I was of the belief that they needed to have a little bit more urgency, and part of that, I wanted this to be a veteran manager. And I don't say that to blame any of this on Craig Albertaz, who might very well prove to be the greatest manager the Orioles ever had. It to me was more a reflection of, I don't think that they could afford to allow someone to learn on the job. I thought that because of what happened a year ago that you alluded to, this team had to get off to a very, or at least a reasonable start, a fast start, whatever you want to call it, to find their way in. And I wanted someone that would demand accountability on day one, that the moment they walked in, and I undoubtedly, you know, you love him, I love him, I have very romantic feelings about what Buck Showalter did on day one when he arrived in Baltimore, and there was an accountability that we had not seen in a very long time. I wanted that guy. They went a different direction. Maybe everything would be the exact same, but I don't want to pile on Jeremiah Jackson, because for the most part, Jeremiah Jackson does the job that you could ask him to do. But when you see someone not touching the base at first base, I can't help but scream, man. Like, the major league level, how does that happen? And why is it that this stuff continues to occur as managers have changed over the course of the last 2 years?
Well, they've had a lot of, you know, or how do I want to word this? This was not exactly how they drew up to start the year. Right? Jackson was supposed to be your everyday second baseman. Jordan Westburg was supposed to be your everyday third baseman. So you have guys that are being put into positions that, even though they can play the position, that hasn't been maybe the position that they have been playing for the majority of time. But that's whatever the reason is, there's no excuse to not be more fundamental with what you do. And I think what I just said before about the fundamental part, and I get it. To your point, you're saying, well, this should be taken care of. This should be addressed. You're right. In a perfect world, you would love from the get-go that this team is crisp, clean, and does everything right.
Yeah.
But I think what was understood, and then it's now being shown, you have a new everyday center fielder that's going to have to be out there, because whatever people wanted to think about Cedric Mullins and his bat, even though I still have belief in Ceddy, but I'm not going to deny that he didn't have his struggles offensively at times. But you know what Cedric was? He was your everyday center fielder.
He was a dog.
You knew who was out there, and you knew what he was going to do. You now know that Taylor Ward's mainly going to be in left, but there's still a comfortability of the outfielders getting into the role. Is Cowser going to be the everyday center fielder? Is it going to be Tavares going to get more run? Is it Beavers? But you see what I mean? I'm throwing out 3 names when in the past you didn't have to think about that. And now you're having Jeremiah Jackson play second. Blaze Alexander play second. Blaze play third. And what you're seeing is that versatility is great, but sometimes can lead to more mistakes when the time comes. But above all, you got to be more fundamental if you're going to win, Glenn. You know, I think that's just the simple answer, because in games when you lose by 1, you can go back and look at moments throughout the game, and sometimes they might not go down as errors, right? The Jeremiah getting over to first, not getting his footwork, I don't think that was ruled an error. I think it was ruled a hit, if I'm not mistaken. So in the box score, that's a hit. But as we watched the game, that was an opportunity to get an out. And it should have been an out. And I think that's where these conversations go, is that there's moments throughout a game that whether they are actual errors in the box score or they are plays that could have been made, and maybe we know that they are quote-unquote errors, those are moments that could come back to decide a ball game. And in this case, for the Orioles, in that one game, I thought Shane Baz pitched very well. In a game where you lose by 1, they had a couple moments. Right? It comes down to the end where Helsley gives up the run, but also the Orioles could have been winning that game. And the same thing when they tried to come back in game 1, had that chance. And I know I'm babbling, but the final thing Chris Bassett in his game, if you get that one out, does it lead to the huge inning? It still might, but you're put in a pitcher that needs help in a tougher position. So it's little things like that that are going to put him in a tough spot. But I think if they truly can clean that up, Glenn, drastically how different the results can change, because I do believe this offense will get going, and I do believe the starting pitching will go deeper into games. It's just none of the parts are clicking yet, and that's not a bad thing, but you want to be able to continue to get better as you move deeper and deeper into the year.
Ryan Ripken with us here on GCR. Ryan, you bring up Bassett. Obviously, he and Bradish in particular, it's been a mess to start the season. I think the Bradish one is more concerning because he's the guy that I think a lot of us believed was going to become this team's ace. And for what it's worth, Trevor Rogers has very much looked the part 2 starts in. What do you make of what you've seen from Bradish so far? Obviously, we know what he's capable of doing. Is there anything that appears to be off to you 2 starts into the season?
I really got zero concerns with Kyle Bradish. You know, really honestly, there is 1 inning in his 2 outings, and it was the last outing where he gave up 4 in the second. It's something about the second inning right now, Glenn. You know, for all the Orioles pitchers, Shane Baz had that earlier in the year. Kyle Bradish has had that. Chris Bassett had that. You know, in that situation, right, it was, you know, Connor Griffin has that double to left center on a slider that was just hung up a little bit too long, and he puts a good swing on it, and then it kind of opens things up a little bit for Pittsburgh. His first down against the Twins, I thought his stuff looked really good. You know, the problem for him was he just wasn't putting away batters the way that he had wanted. You know, had 3 walks in the Pittsburgh game, and I think in the previous outing, if I'm not mistaken, his first outing, he also had 3 walks, right? So that the walks are a little bit high, so trying to find his footing. But when I look at pure stuff, his stuff's there.
Okay.
It's all right there. I think also with a guy and talking to Kyle about it, this is the first time he actually had a full spring training. And now this is his first time, you think about it, actually being ready for the start of the season in some time. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I really have no worries. Now, Chris Bassett on the other side, not that I'm going to push the worry button on Bassett, but why are people thinking of it is because of what happened last year. There was a veteran pitcher that came to Baltimore, and he struggled with his command early, and then he struggled to get back to his form. And so that's where the thought goes. But Bassett did pitch really meaningful baseball just this past October in the World Series. And I want to, and he deserves that benefit of the doubt. But let's just be clear, though. For this Orioles team, their strength needs to be that their starters can go deep into games, right? You go into the 6th inning, you're going to give your team a great chance, and that's really been the issue, is that the starters haven't been able to push it. It's caused the bullpen to be pushed more to their brink while they're a little bit trying to get their footing set and with injuries. So you see it's like a kinetic chain. Your starters got to set the tone, and they haven't fully set the tone yet outside of Trevor Rogers. And if you can get those guys rolling, the starting rotation, I think, really can be one of the top units. But they got some work to do right now.
And it's weird because it's sort of a mixed bag in the bullpen. For as much as we were concerned about it, you bring up what happened to Helsley the other day, and, boy, you would have liked to have had a challenge in that spot. That would have been good. They didn't. And I want to talk about that in a second, too, in general. But, I mean, Rico Garcia has been a magician, right, to this point this season. Nunez has had moments. It didn't have a great moment the other day. But, I don't know, maybe in a weird way, the bullpen to me, I know Yarmiel Geraldo will be the one that people pile on, but he's not even there anymore. I don't know. I think has been more encouraging than discouraging, given what our expectations and our thoughts were.
Yeah, I think the bullpen's been overused. And if you knew that there was still some question marks about what your bullpen was going to be, they've been put in a tough position. When your starters don't go deep into a game, that's going to stretch out your bullpen earlier than you would like. And then on top of it, guys are trying to figure out their roles. I've loved seeing what Anthony Nunez has. I love seeing what Grant Wolfram has. But Grant coming in, unfortunately, with the Zach Eflin injury, right, that takes him out of a rhythm, and that makes it a long bullpen game when Zach leaves. And then on top of it, Bassett not going deep into a game, that extends your bullpen. Bradish, same thing. And that's really where I think it's been hard because, the bullpen guys never are going to get the credit that aren't Helsley, right? Helsley, the closer, you get all the glory, and you also get some blame, but typically you get the glory. The other guys, you expect that they're going to go out there and be perfect. And that's not the case. They're going to give up runs. That's inevitable. But on top of it, these are all guys that have potential but are still trying to find their footing. So I just think at times early in the season, they've just been asked to do a lot. And I think that that obviously there's going to be questions. And I think it's hard to answer those questions when they've had to be thrown into different circumstances. I think in a perfect world, you want guys to get comfortable with what their role could be. But right now, outside of Helsley, there isn't really any set roles, right? And that's a part of the process, and it hurts not having Kittredge and Keegan. So, but there is positives. There's positives with this team. There's positives with the bullpen. But when you're being asked to do more early, that can push the limits a little bit where they are a little bit short in that department.
I brought up the challenge, right? Early on, the Orioles were killing it in the challenge department, right? Like, it was brilliant. I thought this weekend we started to see what we maybe saw from some other teams, like the Twins last weekend, and maybe some of the things we've accused John Harbaugh of over the years, where there were like the frustration challenges, I just got called for strike 3, and I'm not happy about the result, so I'm starting to challenge. We heard from Craig Albernaz in spring training that he didn't want to put too many rules on when guys could or could not challenge. But, you saw her this weekend losing a challenge very early in the game, and now the entire game you have to think about that. At some point, do they have to have a deeper conversation about who can challenge and when, and whether or not it's okay to be challenging really under any circumstance in the second inning of a game if there's nobody on base?
I think it's a trial and error, but clearly with this new ABS system and structure, strategy is a part of it now, and of course, if it's so egregious and you say, hey, I want to challenge that, then great, you should, but it is understanding the moment, and the ABS strategy and the challenge system helped the Orioles win the finale against the Twins because the Twins challenged early and they didn't get one. And then when Rico Garcia left the bases loaded and stranded.
Yeah.
Wallner made a challenge, right? And that was out of challenges. And why is that important? Gunnar Henderson had, I think, a 3-0 or 3-1 pitch that was actually a strike on the metrics, but it was called a ball and they can't challenge. And that was in, the 7th inning or something like that, I believe, 6th or 7th inning. But that matters. That hurt the Twins. And for the Orioles, that final inning in the 9th, they got not just the final call on Josh Bell for strike 3, they got the 3-0 pitch to be strike 1. And that was a challenge part. So I don't think that you want to limit guys and say, hey, I don't want you to challenge, but I think it's understanding the circumstance of the game. If there's a tense moment early on where it could be a huge swing, sure. But really trying to value, is this a big enough moment? And could we use this in the big moment down the stretch? And I think that's how you want it to be looked at. But you don't want guys overthinking and not challenging because they're afraid, right? It's going to be an interesting part, but no doubt strategy here with the ABS system could help teams win ball games because it already has.
Well, it also goes back to me to why I just want the robots to call the balls and strikes, man. Like, I just want us. I just don't want this to be a thing that you have to think about. I don't want it to be something that cost you where you needed a challenge in the 9th inning of a game and you didn't have one. I just want us to get the calls right. I just want us to get the calls right as much as we possibly can. All right, what am I plugging for you, man? Where are you going to be? What's going on in your world this week?
What is going on this week? Monday through Friday, I'll do the Ryan Ripken Show from 3 to 5. Just sat down with actually former Oriole Austin Hayes. So Hazy and I got to catch up. And, he's a White Sox now. He's a White Sox player. And apparently it's going to be pretty cold there. And asked him about how do you hit with no batting gloves? Is that going to feel good? Stay tuned. And I'll be on 105.7 this week. And then I'll be back on with GCR whenever I get the call.
We do this every day if we could, my friend. You know that's the case. We love you. At Ryan Ripken Show, that's how you follow him. And, of course, check it out every afternoon. Appreciate you, brother. Have a great week. Let's talk soon, all right?
I appreciate you guys. Have a great week. See you.
It's Ryan Ripken with us here on GCR. It is something that I was thinking about this weekend, the challenge stuff. Like the Kobe Mayo one in particular to me, felt like the frustration challenge. It felt like I'm not off to the start that I want to be off to, and so I want the result to be different than what it was. And I say that, I believe that Kobe Mayo thought it was a ball. I believe that. But it felt like there was a little bit more going on there. And I'm not trying to suggest that the rule should be, Kobe Mayo can't ever challenge a pitch. Or that insert player's name here can't ever challenge. And again, I think that the problem is that you have to challenge. I keep talking about it. I don't want challenges to exist in sports. I want the officials to officiate the games, period. And so if let me allow the computer. That was the Kobe Mayo one?
I think so. The Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday.
Yeah, there it was. And again, they needed the challenge in the 9th inning, right? It's very close. I'm not arguing. Let me say it's very close. This was in the zone. It wasn't
that one. There was one from the weekend where it was literally on the corner,
Well, the one that Ryan Helsley challenged last week that we loved was, just touching.
But still portions. Yeah, I get your point.
This was in the zone completely. The ball was in the zone. It was close, but it wasn't that close. And it felt like there was more that was coming out in that challenge. We lost a couple of games. I haven't been off to the greatest start, the start that I want to be off to. And remind me what inning that was.
That was the 2nd inning.
Yeah. And it wasn't like there's definitely not a runner in scoring position. I can't remember if there was even a runner on base in the 2nd inning. I really
find the full, but I guess I don't know how much how important.
So what do? Do you say, hey man, no, you're not allowed to? It cost them in the 9th inning, right? Still Ryan Helsley's got to make a better pitch, but that should have been a strikeout. I one of the conversations about ABS is that for
There was one runner on.
who and what was the
That was the second out of the inning.
that
So
was
it
second
was-
out, and
yeah,
where was the runner?
Runner on first.
Runner on first.
Yeah.
So it's not a runner in scoring position. It's a. I just think that there has to be a deeper conversation about when you do it, the circumstances, all of that, because it did. It hurt them, but that's a baseball problem too. It's not fair that you have to think about that stuff instead of just saying, "Hey, let's make sure that one was right," because it was close. There's no doubt. Let's make sure it was right. Which is what I want baseball to do. I like ABS, and I know people have been entertained by it early on in the season, but eternally, I'm going to prefer for it to be balls and strikes. And my friends who are umpires have made a big deal about how the strike zone has changed. Dale Scott brought that up when we talked to him last week, but I'm not just like, when I say friends who are umpires, I'm not even talking about major league umpires. I mean people that are just like umpires at high school games have.
Yeah,
I've heard
from
them.
Well, and I'm already seeing because the one I showed on the screen had the ball completely in the strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
The one they actually showed on the because I just found the replay too, and it was like it was half. The ball was like half in the zone, half out of the zone. So a strike, but it wasn't as obvious as that initial graphic. So there's just now that they have every single guy's height down to the inch and half inch, like. It's much every strike zone is unique now.
That part is true, but it's definitely bigger. There's no doubt that it's a bigger strike zone than it was before, and that is advantage to the pitcher, no doubt, which is part of the reason why hitters did not necessarily want there to be ABS. It was strange to me that the pitchers didn't want ABS, but their argument was I want to manipulate whatever the umpire's zone is and know that I can go there. To me, this is a benefit to the pitchers. That ABS exists because they're getting a bigger strike zone. There's no doubt about it. I don't know. I don't know that you change the rules for who can challenge and who can't challenge, but I would have. That one stood out to me. That one stood out, and obviously what it ended up being in the ninth inning stood out. Right. Like it stood out the combination of I don't know how significant this was. I don't know that Kobe Mayo has earned this. Well, that wasn't.
That's the same exact one.
But is that that's not the official one. That's.
This is. I mean, there's different. So apparently, everyone has a different type of ABS. I guess.
Okay. All right. Whatever. I'm not gonna. We're gonna nerd out on this type of stuff. And.
Well, I'm just trying to show I thought I was proving your point here that.
Well, yeah, but now it's weird that one's in one place and the other one's in another place, and neither one of them is official.
Lost there, so they have a win percentage impact here, 3% there. So
because of the lost challenge, or because of the result of the pitch.
Both, I guess.
Combining the result of the pitch with the lost challenge.
Yeah, that's what I mean. However, this is tap the cap on Twitter. So, however they calculate their
old tappy, tapperoo. Let's do 3 up and 3 down quickly. Let's do that because we're talking Orioles right now. I got a bunch of other stuff on the list, but let's do that right now.
3 up.
And 3 down.
3 up and 3 down is brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. In the final days for this one with Cal Ripken on the cover. You know him. He's Ryan Ripken's dad.
They're related?
Yeah, believe it or not. You can go get this for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores or everywhere where you find Press Box. And, of course, read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. And in about 9 days, you will find – 9 Days was a band. They did what did they do? They did This Is the Story of a Girl Who Cried a River and Drowned the Whole World. That song was was popular with the young ladies when I was in high school. That was a very popular song. The gals all thought it was about them. They all believed that they were the main character because of the band 9 Days. So, up yours, 9 Days. Anyway,
shouldn't you be taking 9 days? I guess
I don't know. I mean, I like the song, but it was crazy the number of girls I talked to. Like, oh, he's singing just about me. I'm like, probably not.
Might have been.
No, probably
about someone.
Probably not.
One of those girls was right.
If I had to guess. Probably not the case. Speaking of high school, I'm going to play trivia tonight with my high school girlfriend and her wife.
Oh.
They're in town, and they're gonna come play trivia with us. And I like them a great deal. I'm very excited about that. Her wife, in fact, is an angel. Her wife. We were all out at Deep Creek one year, and she just kept bringing me more charcuterie boards. I was like, "Who are? Can I get in on this marriage? Like, what do I do about this?" They were like, "Yeah, we don't really care for your type." I was like, "It's a shame." Anyway, I don't know what that has to do with the print issue of Press Box, but that's the story I shared now. Oh, the new print issue of Press Box, 9 days. That's how we got there.
Left.
9 days until the new print issue of Press Box.
Got it.
Let's start down. Oh God, maybe this week we should start up.
I know. Yeah.
Like it's, ugh. My number 3 on the up list is Rico Garcia, who honestly could be higher. Like, let's be honest. This week, uniquely, 2 of his appearances were not with runners on base, so this wasn't like the classic Rico Garcia week.
Sure, he's got some length though.
It's true. Yeah. He got 2 clean innings, or 3 clean.
3 1/3 clean innings.
I'm saying like the clean as in didn't have base runner.
Right.
The only one that had base runners was Saturday, right, where he had inherited a runner on third with 2 outs and walked. That was the only time he gave a base runner as he walked. And you're like, oh no, Rico, you're not gonna. But got out of that too, and just continues to be very reliable. And I hear a rumor we might be talking to Rico Garcia this week, so that's cool because he's been really good. So I look forward to that. Rico Garcia is my number 3.
Yeah, I went with him as my number 3 as well. Because I kind of, I had to step back. I was like, was Rico Garcia really one of the 3 best Orioles this week? And I was like, I guess
I left Shane Baz off, and I could have made an argument for Shane Baz.
I left Gunnar off.
Yeah, I left Gunnar off too.
Yeah. And which also begs the question, what does Gunnar have to do to make the list? I mean, he OPS like 900.
I hear you.
So
I don't know.
I guess win games that would probably help. That would.
I didn't think. Yeah, correct. That would help.
Rico's my number 3 as well. I left Shane Baz off too. So.
My number 2 is Taylor Ward. He had 11 hits.
Yeah, was like 500 on the week, or almost
something like that. And what was nice for Taylor Ward was like the thing that we were worried about with Taylor Ward is it was redundant. He showed he's not redundant. Now, ironically, the team that we're like, are they too reliant on home runs? Now we need them to start hitting some home runs. Like. Maybe we get back to that.
Well, yes, they are. So then maybe they are too reliant on home runs.
Might prove it, yes, that when they don't hit home runs, they can't do anything. But Taylor Ward was a complete baseball player. Now, I say complete. He's still kind of what he is defensively. He's just not a plus defender. But as a hitter, he offered a lot and was on base and was setting the table the way that you would like a leadoff hitter to do it. Yeah, I think he did have like 6 strikeouts this week, but Taylor Ward was really good.
Everybody else did too.
For the most part, you're right. He's my number 2.
So I guess this means I put Trevor Rogers as my number 2.
And you had Taylor Ward number 1.
Just because he let up a run, I guess. That's why.
With shame.
I know. But yeah, thank you, Trevor Rogers. Really appreciate it.
Trevor Rogers was number 1 on my list because what in the F would they be without Trevor Rogers?
Yeah. Probably pretty bad.
Yeah.
Really bad, maybe.
God, man. Yeah, Trevor Rogers was number 1.
Ward was my number 1. Leadoff hitter. Taylor's version.
He was. Oh, look at you. Yeah. Look at you. The down list, my number 3, there are lots of options this week. 2 to me were obvious. The third could have been just about anybody. I went with Tyler O'Neill as number 3. He had a miserable week, 1 for 13, 5 strikeouts, but I'll listen to a lot of arguments for who was number 3.
Yeah, I had him 1 higher. I put Kobe Mayo as my number 3.
Okay, all right.
Did you have Mayo on your list?
No, he didn't make my list.
Yeah, Mayo was on mine. We were concerned about him, obviously, coming into the year, and I guess, he's had some hiccups at third, but he's been,
for the
most part, I've been impressed by him at third base. His bat has been awful.
Yep.
It's been really, really bad. 1 for 11, 6 strikeouts.
Yep. Not good.
Just add him to the club. So Kobe Mayo is my number 3.
Kyle Bradish is my number 2. And it's a lot about expectations. I appreciate what Ryan said. That's fine. And wasn't there a challenge in the Connor Griffin at bat on Friday? Do I remember that correctly? I apologize. On Friday, that's when I was speaking to the Loyola lacrosse team, so I was a little bit distracted.
Let me see if I can pull.
I thought there might have been a challenge in that at bat.
I remember Connor challenged something. Well, I can't remember if it was that at bat or if it was later in the game. Maybe I don't know. Bradish didn't make my list just because.
To me, it's an expectation thing. Like Bradish.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just thought that I felt like Friday was going to be tough anyway. Like that, the vibes were insane in Pittsburgh with Connor Griffin. And,
if Kyle Bradish is supposed to be a top of
the
if Kyle Bradish is supposed to be a top of the rotation pitcher, and that's the way that we're.
Yeah, I know, but maybe he's not.
That part is a different. That to me, the opportunity cost of that. This goes back to they were too bullish about Grayson Rodriguez a year ago. The bullishness about Kyle Bradish is all well and good until you're actually counting on it, until you have to have it. The possibility of Kyle Bradish being a top-of-the-rotation pitcher was clear, but to plan on it was foolhardy. He's pitched well in short stints. He hasn't been that since 2023. Which doesn't mean he can't be that, but it's a little bit like talking about Mike Trout as being a really good baseball player.
Well, he got hit on the hand last night, so yeah, your argument's going to stand, I guess, because
could he be?
He's not going to play again this year.
Maybe he could be, but we have no idea, and it's been a while since he has been. They need Kyle Bradish. The math for this season working involves Kyle Bradish, top of the rotation type of pitcher. And he has sure as hell not been that.
It was the sixth inning is when Connor Griffin
That's when he got the challenge.
And he got it right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Never mind. Take it back.
And nothing happened in that inning. So
Yep.
so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Bradish didn't make. O'Neal is my number 2. Because he was pretty bad as well. Same thing. I mean, they can't even get him in the lineup now. Like that's how not worth his contract he is. That he sits out of the lineup 3 straight days, and 4 straight days, 3 straight games. Like it's just it's bad, and he's hard to watch. I mean, unless he's hitting the ball over the fence, I don't like watching him play baseball at all. So it might be, and I think it might be a personal thing as well. But Tyler O'Neill is my number 2. So I can admit that.
Yeah, big of you, very big of you. Look, man, Chris Bassett was a mess, and it's worse. Whenever it involves 2 starts, it makes it really difficult for this particular game. But I mean, it was
both were bad.
Yeah,
so.
It was a disaster. It was an unmitigated disaster. So he was an easy choice to be number 1. A couple of things I want to get into before we talk to Max Watkinson because I've got him on my list, but one of them is baseball related. Can you pull up the Manny Machado thing from yesterday? And we'll get 3 Up and 3 Down up at GlennClarkRadio.com here in a little bit. Manny Machado, anytime Manny Machado sneezes, somehow it becomes a thing.
It's national news.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe if you missed it yesterday, there was a play as the Padres beat the Red Sox. And by the way, Manny Machado ended up hitting a 3-run homer in the game. And I like Manny Machado beating the Red Sox. That makes me happy. That gives me some joy. There was a play that got an awful lot of attention. And one particular account that kind of spun the conversation by saying, is this a dirty play? Which is just kind of a bizarre word to use, even if you think you saw what you think you saw. So
I think they know what they're doing. They're hunting engagement.
Yes, they're looking for engagement. So here it is.
You want the sound or just?
Sure, you can give me the sound. What is this courtesy of?
This is the Padres. I don't know what they're...
Padres TV.
Yeah, Padres
is
TV.
what we'll call it.
Snap throw to first, and it hits Machado. So the runners will advance. Manny to second, and taking third is Merrill.
I think they got a piece of Brian O'Nori as well. Let's take a look right here. Snap throw.
Oh, you know what Contreras is saying? That Manny did that on purpose, and it kind of looked a little bit like he may have.
Going to a little Reggie Jackson right there. You know what?
Take a look at the way he moved his foot.
Yeah, I was looking on that.
So there's 2 thoughts to me. The first is you slow something like that down, you can see whatever you want to see. Is it possible that that's what he was thinking about? Maybe. But it's also a god-awful throw that Manny Machado is going to have to now work his way around in this situation because the ball is coming right at him and not to first base. And what nobody's talking about is whether or not Manny Machado in that process is like thinking, do I have to hop over this? Do I have to? And it just ends up being sort of awkward. Now, is it possible that he completely purposely kicked that ball? Yeah, it is. And you know what we normally call that in baseball?
High IQ, smart,
heads
heady.
up.
Yeah.
Heads up. That's what we normally call those types of things. We normally say, hey, man, By all means. The ball's being thrown at you, by all means. And you can be frustrated by that. You can say, that's not the spirit of baseball or whatever you want to say, but to suggest this is, for whatever reason, Manny Machado has been the poster boy for not playing the game the right way. Which, in very rare cases, I think have said, I'm not on board with that. In most cases, I would say, yeah, that's kind of baseball. But this one, in particular, I don't even know with certainty because you're slowing it down and seeing a leg motion. Let's start with, dude, the ball's coming at you. It doesn't always look. You're also suggesting that in the split second that ball's coming at him, he realized exactly where the ball was going to be, exactly how far off the line the throw was, and figured out how he could soccer kick it. Which is, that's a lot.
It's impressive.
That's a lot. Is it impossible? I can't say it's impossible. But my gut tells me it's more like the ball's here, I'm sticking my leg out, that's what it is. And he didn't, kick it with his toe. He kicked it with, the bottom part of his foot. Even if he did think all of that through and concoct all of it, that's baseball. It is, Manny Machado is of no obligation to help out the Red Sox. To say, here's what I'll do, is I'll make sure that if that ball touches me, it stops right here in the field of play. None. Zero. Spare me, man. Spare me. You can be angry at Machado, or you can be angry at the catcher. What the hell was that throw? What was that throw? So there's that. 2. You got the thing. You got Lamar Jackson showing up. Everybody's all Lamar Jackson.
Of course I got that.
These aren't OTAs.
This is a Raven show.
These are just off-season workouts. This is just you're allowed into the strength room. That's it. But Lamar Jackson's there. Hooray! Our long national nightmare is over. Lamar Jackson is gonna...
Oh, we should probably hear the music.
I don't care about the music. He's going to get on the Ravens elliptical today instead of the...
Yeah, they're showing he's running sprints and stuff. He's doing pull-ups.
There you go. This is the difference. Now you know.
Smile.
Now you know the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl this year. All it took was Lamar Jackson. God, we are so interested in somebody.
Here, hold on. I'll find. See, look at him. He's running around.
There you go. That's it. That's the difference. That's the difference. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl because look at Lamar Jackson. Angel Reese has been traded today, apparently. Angel Reese going to the where is she going?
The Dream, yes.
The Atlanta Dream. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna make sure I had that right.
I don't know what the compensation.
I don't either, and nor do I know that it's very significant to me. But Angel Reese heads to Atlanta Dream. Ironically, once upon a time, of course, Angel McCoughtry, the other greatest Baltimore basketball player.
This one too. Yeah, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was there too. And
God bless him. Good for him.
Holy cow, 70s.
Don't care. Look at that. Angel McCoughtry, of course, was a longtime star for the Atlanta Dream, so kind of unique how that works out. But Baltimore's own Angel Reese has a new professional home. She will be in Atlanta. We talked about, obviously, John Heberlin threw out. I think whoever wins should donate a portion of their winnings to UMBC men's basketball's program, NIL.
Good way to hedge.
What say you, Drew? If I know Drew, he'll probably put the money towards either FCA or Calvert Hall Golf.
Yeah.
What if I know Drew, that's where that money is going if he ends up winning.
Yeah, he'll put it on Tiger this weekend.
That's true,
maybe.
or he might do that. I don't think Tiger's playing this weekend.
Does Drew know that?
That's the case. Don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I think that's going to be the case. So the subplot of the weekend was, of course, Tommy Lloyd in North Carolina. It's kind of hilarious, right? So on Saturday you get the news. Tommy Lloyd, he's sticking around. He played him like a fiddle. used North Carolina to get what he wanted from Arizona, only to turn around and get his ass handed to him. Then you probably had a few Arizona fans like, do we have to keep him?
Nah, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. That's a very good coach.
Maybe if not, literally everyone was losing to Michigan by 25 points.
Fair. Now the real question becomes, what do you do?
Except Maryland, they only lost by like 18.
Great point. They were close at the half.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're North Carolina, right? Where do you turn?
I saw him say, let's get Dawn Staley.
Okay. I mean, she just got her ass kicked too, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
She just got drubbed. I don't know what you do if you're North Carolina. Like, we can revisit the Billy Donovan conversation we had last week. I didn't know that apparently Billy Donovan had said he wanted to see the year through, which, why?
Well, he might come back, might go on a run here the last 8 days of the season.
Correct. That makes no sense. And as Patrick pointed out, we talked to him last week, like the portal is opening, or guys are already in the portal. Poor Kevin Willard, man. You got to really feel for that guy, right? Like a Caden Lewis in the portal, and
Bryce
Lindsey's in the portal. God, you just feel for that guy. Sorry, man. Anyway, did we get knocked off?
Why?
Because it looks like we got knocked off. Because it looks like we're not on YouTube. Which is less than ideal, if that's the case. But
I mean, I hope not.
I understand you hope not. But I'm not asking about hope. I'm asking about reality. I'm getting this video is unavailable all of a sudden on YouTube, which doesn't seem like what it is that we want. And so I have real reason to believe that we got knocked off YouTube.
It was 2 firsts for Andrew Reese.
Thanks. Appreciate that. That doesn't solve everything. That was Timothy letting us know that. Thank you, Timothy. Appreciate it. I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're North Carolina. I really don't. I don't have that answer. And I know Mark Byington's name has come up a bit. And I know that the thought was maybe they pivot to Dusty May, but like Dusty May's come out and said he's not leaving Michigan. He doesn't even appear to be trying to play Michigan or use North Carolina to get more from Michigan. He's just kind of said, it's not happening. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for North Carolina next. And obviously they kind of seem to put all of their eggs in the Tommy Lloyd basket. So we will find out what the answer ends up being for them moving forward.
We are still on Facebook.
Okay. I don't know what to do with that. That's not information that helps me a whole heck of a lot. How does this happen? Anyway, and then, the whole Gino Auriemma, Dawn Staley thing, which unfortunately sort of clouds UCLA's dominant national championship win yesterday. Congratulations. Also, I did see, was it UCLA joins, who did they join? They joined Maryland, Stanford, and was there somebody else who have won national championships in men's basketball, women's basketball, and football?
Yeah, I think that was it.
That was it?
Yep. UCLA, Maryland, Stanford.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Obviously, everybody says those are the top 3. Everybody's always talking about what are the best 3 athletic programs in the country, and it's almost always UCLA, Maryland, and Stanford that everybody's coming up with.
Good for UCLA to get thrown in there.
Question comes up. But yes, the Dawn Staley, Gino Auriemma thing, pretty embarrassing from Gino. Comes off extremely petulant. I know everybody's on him about the fact that he put out this statement on Saturday but didn't even use Dawn Staley's name in it, which absolutely
only 20 hours later.
It makes it all so much worse. I mean, it was just deeply embarrassing, deeply embarrassing from Gino. I mean, like, did Dawn Staley need to say, I'd beat his ass? Like, no, of course she didn't need to say that, but I think we've all, when someone acts like an ass to us, I think we've all kind of lost our minds a little bit in response. This all started with Gino Auriemma wanted to be a horse's ass. He wanted to be a horse's ass. He wanted to overshadow the moment, and I guess in that way he got what he wanted because he looked like a horse's ass. I mean, he just looked like a child. Now, Gino Auriemma is one of the greatest coaches of all time, and certainly don't have to worry about his legacy or anything along those lines, but just an embarrassing moment. Just incredibly low-level stuff from Gino Auriemma, who crashed out hard on Friday night. Very, very deeply embarrassing. Let's grab a break. When we come back in, we're going to talk to Max Watkinson, Baltimore native, Loyola goalie, and he did something awesome on Saturday. We'll talk about that next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey, O's fans, kick off your weekend with Party at the Yard, presented by Coors Light. Every Friday home game, hit the Coors Light Roof Deck and Legends Park for happy hour featuring $5 12-ounce Coors Lights when gates open until 1 hour after first pitch. Enjoy live music, photo ops, and entertainment all night long. And welcome a special guest splasher who will keep the good vibes going in the bird bath. Party with the O's on Fridays. Visit Orioles.com/party at the yard.
March Mania is on at Live Casino. And you can get a front row seat for all the action at Sports and Social. Raise your game with massive wall-to-wall TVs. And raise a cheer with your favorite beers, cocktails, and an all-star menu. Best of all, you could win huge prizes every game. Don't get benched. Book your table at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR, and something really cool happened this weekend that you might have missed in lacrosse. This was from ESPN Plus on Saturday. Watkinson looking for the goal. Watkinson's got it! Oh, he's deserved that for the season he's had. What a moment. Max Watkinson, a goalie goal. Yeah, that was this past Saturday in Loyola's win over BU. You don't see it every day, but you really don't see the entire combination of 17 saves, a goalie scoring a goal, and hosting his own halftime segment on the ESPN Plus broadcast. So moving forward, that becomes the Max Watkinson hat trick. Joining us now, He is Baltimore's own and Loyola goalie Max Watkinson. He's with us here on GCR. Max, it's good to see you, man. Congratulations. Thanks for taking the time for us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. That's awesome.
Hey, I know that you guys were preparing for the 10-man ride all week because nobody in the country does it better than BU does. So first of all, congratulations because you all handled it incredibly well. But walk me through, did you guys talk about, hey, when are we shooting? Had you specifically had that conversation with anybody? Like, when do I shoot? Like, walk me through and when you made the decision that you were going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think all week we were very prepared. I think Coach Cottle does a great job. He works with us and our clearing and riding, and I think it's been obvious the amount of strides we made this year compared to last. And already having kind of the experience, although Colgate's 10-man's a little bit different, of having that experience already kind of battling a 10-man, I think helps as well a little bit. But just watching film specifically on BU and understanding they're a little bit more of a man-heavy 10-man, so knowing the goalie's going to commit a little bit more out to the attackman, so having the understanding of myself of maybe it's open. Although all week, and Coach Jim would probably tell you the same thing, he's telling me, don't shoot, please don't shoot. So having that in my mind a little bit and understanding the situation and understanding what we kind of want to do, and I guess in that moment of kind of recognizing them taking away Mason Cook a little bit, who was our guy coming through the middle, and looking at where the goalie was, and I'm like, oh, he's sitting over there. I might as well wind up, see where he is, and he's still staying, and I'm like, all right, go and shoot, and felt good coming out, and yeah, ended up going in, which was pretty cool.
All right, so there's two thoughts here because you were clearly shooting to score. You were not shooting for backup because you placed that in front of the goal. Were you terrified at all of, oh, God, what if this goes wrong? I'm going to get an earful. Was it easier to make that decision given the fact that you guys are up by 8 at that point?
Probably a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think I've heard a lot from Coach Toomey over the years of him giving comments. So, trying to follow and be as respectful as possible, but knowing in the situation of it's pretty open, and I know we had Keenan back there getting back up, and I saw him back there. So, just having the confidence kind of step into it and just creep forward as much as I could to get it there.
Dude, I don't even know the answer to this. Did Charlie ever score a goal in his career?
I don't know, but if he didn't, I guess it's something I got to bring up to him.
Yeah, right? I think that might have to come up in conversation at some point this week. Max, obviously, it's not just the goal. The goal was cool, right? It was an incredibly cool moment. But you allude to how you guys have been so much better in clearing and handling this season. But I think we can just sort of end the conversation at better, right? Like that sentence can end there. Mm-hmm. What on the whole has changed with this group from a year ago and everything that you guys went through and what had been a miserable start to the season? What changed that you guys have been so much sharper in critical moments this season?
Yeah, I think it's just the way that we've prepped this year in practice. Coach Ward has brought a whole new energy to the offensive side, and it's really allowed us to compete even further. And, I think the coaches preach an atmosphere of fierce competition and demanding that out of us. And I think this year especially, this has probably been one of the hardest practice years I've ever had, with just the workload that goes into each and every practice. So I think just starting it from there, and then you just build confidence over time. Like I think we had great results in the fall. I think we showed that we're very capable to go do it. And then coming into the spring of you're not really sure quite where you are, because the spring's a little bit different than going up and playing Penn State and playing Richmond and being very competitive with those two teams who are obviously very, very good teams. I think kind of alluded to us that we can do it, and I'm not sure anybody had the expectation that we were going to lose against Maryland and Hopkins. It ended up working out that way, but the group stayed together as a whole. We knew our identity and knew where we were last year, and I think getting the win over UMBC was very good for the young guys to see, sophomores and freshmen to see kind of what a win is and how you transfer that to other games. So I think it just started there, and hopefully we don't look back. Hopefully we're able to make a run in the Patriot League and go do some cool things.
Max Watkinson, Loyola goalie, St. Paul's alum. He's with us here on GCR. The Greyhounds now sit at 7-4, first place in the Patriot League after their win over BU on Saturday. Max, for you, right? Like everything that you've been through in your time at Loyola, and not that it was on you what happened a year ago. You were facing an awful lot of shots, right? But how do you feel like you've been even better and you've improved? Because, I mean, you've stood on your head a number of times this season and have been called upon to and I know you'll tell me, I'm sure, that you need to catch the ball a little bit cleaner sometimes, but the bailouts that you've given this team this year, what improved for you as you went into your senior year?
Yeah, I think the comfortability of just like having done it before. This year leading up into it was a lot different than last year, where being in a goalie competition, and we played Richmond the week prior before we played Georgetown last year, and I think I had my worst game ever. And we walk into the week, and Coach Toomey, he walks up to me, he's like, "Hey, you're getting the start, but if it's not going well, you're done." Essentially, was the conversation, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot to figure out for one game, but I think being able to go through a situation like that and come out the other side successfully, and a tough 4 weeks of what was the start of last season, kind of just makes you feel comfortable that you can do it, and you've seen yourself do it at the highest, I guess, of pressure situations. So I guess it all stems from there, and then doing it repeatedly over and over in practice, and having the faith of your coaching staff and the defense in front of you, and it makes it a lot easier when everybody's behind you and supports you.
And the entire team. And the entire team is playing at a high level, right? Like,
absolutely.
That's changed everything. Max, how do you, this is a great win, obviously, for your team, but how quickly do you have the conversation of, okay, now that's that, right? Like, enjoy it, but we have a brutal schedule, like Lafayette, Army, Navy down the stretch. Like, we haven't won anything yet. How quickly do you guys have that conversation and try to refocus after a really phenomenal victory?
Yeah, I think it almost started Saturday night, and Coach Toomey had sent me a text just talking over a few things, and one of the messages was back to him, it's just like, let's get to work on Monday. Like, it's a new week, and now being in the position that we kind of are, kind of holding sole first place, I don't want to lose it. I want to host the Patriot League tournament. Would be pretty cool. So getting back to work, getting the skyline that we need to do on Lafayette, watching the film, having a very competitive and up-tempo practice over the course of the week, and focusing on those guys and trying to go up and get a win in Pennsylvania in just a few days.
We talked on Friday about revering the moment, right? You've been through a lot of great moments, like these massive crowds. You bring up games like Loyola and Hopkins. You've played in front of electric atmospheres. But what does it mean to now be having these moments, these big games with lots at stake, and you're coming through? What do these moments, you're a kid from here, like the history of Loyola lacrosse as well as anybody does.
Yeah.
What does this mean to you to be a part of this in your senior season?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You talked about on Friday of kind of just living in the present and really enjoying what you're doing, and as you mentioned, being from here and having a mom who works at Loyola, being a professor, and growing up going to games, and I think my first game here was their championship season in 2012. So, kind of identify and be like, oh, this is pretty cool as a kid, and having the dream of, one day playing Division I lacrosse, and, being lucky and blessed enough to be able to play here and have Coach Toomey recruit me. I mean, it's everything I've ever dreamed of as a kid. So it's pretty cool, and to now be a part of a very successful so far team, and hoping to go do some more and more special things, I think is it's the only words I can think of is it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Cool. It is really cool, and I'm glad that you appreciate that. That's what I was trying to talk to everybody about on Friday. It's so freaking cool, man.
It really is.
This is what you get to do, and the number of kids that would dream of doing something like this, and here you are living it and thriving, which is awesome. Max, so I mentioned at the top, for people that don't know, but because they haven't watched, you've been hosting our halftime segments this year on the ESPN Plus broadcasts. Grade yourself. How do you feel like you've done with interviewing your guys and doing the in the crease stuff? And has it made you think at all about maybe this might be part of your future at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely made me think a lot, and I think how much I enjoyed doing it. It's been an unreal experience, and to be able to see some of the clips at halftime, and it's pretty cool. To grade it, I think there's always room for improvement.
There we go. There we go.
Who's
Yeah,
a
right.
perfectionist.
There we
yeah.
go. That's what we need to hear. We need to hear.
I think being somebody who's perfectionist was hard to do at the goalie position, but it's a little bit easier to grade outside. There's definitely room for improvement and room for, I think, just feeling more comfortable like anything in life. One of the things that I still talk to goalies of years past, Ryan Whitaker, Colton Titobaum, Luke Stout, all those guys, and the first thing that they message to me is what are we doing with your hair? It's all over the place. What's fun? And I'm like, all right, thanks, guys. Love the support.
We got bigger things to worry about right now. There are bigger fish to fry in
No
this
kidding.
moment.
Love them. It's awesome. But I think just continuing to get comfortable and projecting, I think, is the biggest thing that I kind of struggle with right now. So continuous, the more you do it, the more and more you improve.
100%. The broadcast, the broadcast part of it will come. I promise you that. Some people will tell me it's still never come from me, and I'm 25 years into this at this point. I got St. Paul Spalding tomorrow. I'm doing that one. How you feeling about it?
Ooh, honestly, as I get more and more removed, I know less and less.
Okay.
I don't think anybody that I played with is still there. No,
yeah.
They all graduated. I'm not sure if Spalding is this year. I know more about St. Paul's, and I still talk to Coach Settembrino from time to time, and he's awesome. One of my favorite coaches I played for. So hopefully a St. Paul's win. I know they started off. I don't know what they are right now. I know they lost their first conference game. Don't know. I think they played Severn next. I'm not sure how that went. But hopefully they'll go get a win. And it's been something I think the program has missed for a little bit, being as historic as it is, making a deep run into late May and going to win another MIAA championship. That would be awesome.
It would be. It would be awesome. I know Spalding's still looking for their first after last year, but
okay,
should be a good one. Should be a good one tomorrow. Max Watkinson. I don't know what else to say, man. You've been awesome. You've been absolutely awesome this year, and the lift that you've given your team, it's been really incredible to see. May there be a lot more for you moving forward. Are you like anything social-wise that we should plug for you, where people should be following you?
That's a good question. I think just the YouTube. We'll start there. I've been a little bit dead on it recently, but trying to.
You've had other things that were a little more important, bro.
It gets it gets a little hectic as the year goes on,
Yeah.
but as the summer approaches and I'm working and traveling, it becomes a little bit easier. So Crease Talk, find me there, and hopefully able to conduct some more interviews with some guys, and some more sports related videos.
Max, congratulations on an awesome season. Go get him at Lafayette this week. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Thank you.
Back in here on GCR. Sorry, I apologize. We did that earlier. I should have told you that. I know I don't like to lie to everybody. I don't like to. It used to be something that we would do on this show where we would say, we'll just come back from break and play the interview, and no one will ever know that it was pre-recorded. We did that a little bit earlier on because he still goes to class. Like, he still, unlike some places, they have to go to class. So appreciate Max Watkinson taking the time for us. I apologize. We were dealing with an issue related to YouTube today. I don't know what's going on. I don't, and we're trying to fix it. It happened to us last week. It's a YouTube-specific problem. So if that occurs, come on over to Facebook. We're still live there. We've been trying sometimes to go live to TikTok, but that has been hit or miss. Yes, hit or miss, unfortunately. And I don't know the answer on that either. And again, it's just Griffin and I. Like, I could use a staff. I could use people that know these things better than we do that could help on them. If you know somebody like that, please point them in our direction. We will pay them in hugs.
I'll give him a high five.
Hugs and high fives.
Yeah.
Can't do better than that. But yeah, when that happens, just hop over to the other platform. We'll be there, we promise. If you're a regular YouTube viewer, youtube.com/pressboxonline, and we'll get the whole show. What we'll do is we'll post the whole show there later today. But then hop over to facebook.com/pressboxsports. That's it. And we'll find you there. And I apologize. I don't know what it is. They literally ban the video. It's a bizarre thing. They ban the video, and then I click a button that says, I don't think you should have banned that video. And they say, you know what? You're right. We shouldn't have done that. And within minutes, it's back. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's very annoying. And I have no doubt it's related to the algorithm and related to the Big Brother. It's just a whole...
He's got sick of seeing your face, maybe.
I don't blame them for that. But why today? We've been doing this for a long time. Griffin wants you to know that the Orioles are...
I mean, this is relevant. What do you mean this?
Yeah, it is very relevant. I think we all thought that Albert Suarez was going to get the start tonight. That's not the case. The Orioles will allow, instead, Brandon Young will get the start. Dietrich Enns goes to the injured list, retroactive to Saturday. Brandon Young called up to make the start. Who knows? Maybe he'll throw a no-hitter.
What is a left foot infection?
It sounds gross.
It does.
Don't like it. Don't want it. And... what does that mean for that rotation spot moving forward? Because, they don't necessarily need a starter this weekend. They could allow Trevor Rogers to start on normal rest on Sunday. They didn't decide to do that this time. They decided, because, again, they could have had Trevor Rogers start tonight, but they decided not to do that. They decided that he was going to start on Tuesday. So it is an option for them to have Trevor Rogers start a normal rest on Sunday. I'm going to guess, because they don't have an off day next week, I'm going to guess they choose not to do that. I'm going to guess that someone else is going to start on Sunday against the Giants. If that's the case, it could be Brandon Young. It could be, let's say, Cade Povich isn't called upon between now and then. It could be that Cade Povich makes that start. It could be that they decide that Dean Kramer can make that there's lots of options for what it could be. Is it confusing that the Orioles knew they were going to need a starter earlier this week and, again, made IL moves? Either of these two could have been Dean Kramer. I guess they didn't necessarily know what they were going to be doing.
What they're going to be doing tonight or
they didn't know
yesterday?
They didn't know that Dietrich Enns was going to be hurt.
Right.
When they had Dean Kramer start in Norfolk on Friday. So they couldn't have seen that coming. The Geraldo one, it seems like...
You could have done that whenever you felt like it.
And they could have just said to Dean, you're not starting Friday. Be ready to go. You're going to start Monday. We're going to put Geraldo on the IL this weekend. I don't know. It might very well be that they were so overworked that they just felt like it was more important to have Cade Povich to give them some innings yesterday. So it's what it is. But Brandon Young's going to get the start tonight, and they'll go from there. Hopefully, it's the White Sox, and all's good. Hopefully. We'll see.
They just smacked Toronto around.
I understand. You're 100% right. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Everything you need to know about spring sports at the high school level, baseball, softball, boys and girls lacrosse. Every school, every sport, all throughout the state, they've got you covered. CountySports.zone.
Juju had another good game last night for the Washington Wizards.
Are you going to tell me about 100 rebounds?
Yeah.
I know.
I'm not sure. I assume this is true. It's from the real app. So
I saw that.
I wanted to try to verify it somewhere, but I mean, it seems like everyone's accepting this as truth.
The fastest to 100 rebounds since Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
is what everybody's saying.
Yes. And I wanted to see if there was a full leaderboard for that. I couldn't find a whole lot else around this. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, still cool. Still cool to be mentioned in the same sentence as Shaq. So congrats to Juju. One of the Pirates writers points out, Joe Block, or he's part of their broadcast, part of their radio broadcast, I believe. He points out the Pirates have swept the Orioles, or they've swept Baltimore for the first time in a 3-game series since September of 1893.
How about that?
How
about that?
That has not happened almost ever. There were there were 3 teams in college basketball this year that averaged 18 assists per game and held their opponents to 12 or fewer assists per game.
Okay.
Who are they?
Michigan?
Yeah.
UConn?
Yeah. And then who could possibly be the third?
I know, right? Arizona?
No. They did make the tournament, but they were early exit.
Early exit. Florida?
No. A10.
VCU?
No.
Oh, St. Louis?
Yes, St. Louis. Okay. St. Louis. So Michigan, UConn, and St. Louis.
How about it?
Do that. That's what comes from Matthew Winnick.
I was waiting for you to say something like, and Maryland. And you'd be like, no. No.
Well, I guess we didn't talk about. I mean, I feel like it's worth mentioning. I don't know. The Joe Adele thing was insane.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Like,
that was wild.
Here's here they put all three together.
3 home run robberies. Yeah. The third of which there's been some discourse about the third one, and I think it's warranted. But here you go.
Now here's Crawford with a fly ball to right toward the corner. It's Joe Adele again near the foul pole. Leaping up. Did he catch it again? He fell into the crowd, so it's a home run.
Well, yeah, that's where you're wrong, Mr. Announcer, man. You're wrong about that. So did you see there was a story going around that the next day the Mariners put up a a game plan, don't hit the ball to Joseph Adele, and then hang on a second, let me pull this up. This was from Daniel Kramer, who covers the Mariners for MLB.com. They put up a whiteboard outside the clubhouse. Game plan, don't hit the ball to Joseph Adele. And then the funny part is there is no Joseph Adele. His name is Jordan.
Right? Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Bad game planning, I guess.
Yeah, right? We got to really think about what the game plan strategy is. Look, man, cool. Very cool. Very cool.
In a 1-0 game, I mean, like, nonetheless.
The third one, what the announcer said, I agree with, should be the rule. I think you have to land in the field with the ball in order for it to be an out. And I say that in part because we've seen this a number of times where someone's gone tumbling into the crowd, and then we go over and looked at it. Now, we can't do it anymore, obviously, in foul territory because the nets are there, right? But you go over, and did they catch it? Did they not catch it? And then the guy holds up the ball, and you're like, wow, he caught it. Right, but, like, what if he didn't? Because in the field of play, we have cameras, and we have the ability to review. When you're tucked behind a wall and the ball pops out and hits the ground, we have no ability to see that, which isn't me saying I think that's what happened with Joe Adele. It's that this is why, to me, the rule should be very simple. You have to stay in the field of play for it to be a catch. I saw a couple people online this weekend comparing it to, like, catches in football, where you have to have established yourself. I think you have to stay in the field of play. It's not just did you catch it in the field of play and then your momentum carried you.
Well, it's like that Torrey Hunter play in the playoffs, right? Like where he goes tumbling over at Fenway, where he goes tumbling over the wall.
Right.
And
but we apparently the security officer knew that it wasn't a catch. Remember, because he was threw his arms up in the air afterwards, and it became this iconic image. Like obviously, I think Joe Adele caught that ball, but what if he didn't? What if, as he was coming down, that ball came out of his glove for a split second? And we're just, hey, trust me, that's our apparatus for determining that is, trust me, bro. You got to catch the ball and stay in the field of play. Or to me, it's a home run.
Yeah, but we got this picture.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool image. But that, to me, ain't the way that we determine it. And I think the rule should be changed to reflect that. I am in agreement with the...
So it should have been a home run.
I think that's a home run. I think if you don't stay in the field of play, it's a home run. We think. We sure think. And I lean towards that he caught it. But in the field of play, we have the ability to go back and look. And unless you want to start putting cameras in every front row all around the ballpark...
Maybe that's one. Maybe.
To me, that's not a catch. To me, that should be a home run.
I mean,
by the way the rule's written, it's a catch, and it was cool, and it was a wild night.
So it'll stay the rule.
Probably the case. Is that it? We good?
Yeah, I guess we can. Shohei hit his 48th career 114 mile per hour home run of his career.
I'm assuming that's
second
the most.
most.
Oh, it's second
most in the Statcast era since 2015.
Judge?
He is third.
Stanton?
Stanton is number 1. 75 for Giancarlo Stanton. 4th on the list with 23. So he's not close to those guys yet.
Right, I don't know.
Lefty.
Gallo?
No. Still active. I mean, I guess is Gallo active?
That's a great question. I don't know.
This guy still is active, definitively.
Lefty who's still active, who hits hard. Devers?
No. Devers right-handed. I think
Maybe Devers is right-handed. He might be right. But he hits hard home runs, right? I do have that part right, don't I?
I mean, yeah. When he hits home runs, they're not soft. Yeah.
I don't know. Just tell me. Who is it?
Kyle Schwarber.
I guess I probably.
Devers
is.
is.
I don't know why I didn't. Come
Devers is lefty. Okay, throws righty. He is a lefty.
All right.
Hits lefty.
All right. I don't feel quite as stupid. All right. I got that going for me, which is nice. Let's get tubular for a Monday evening, shall we?
I would. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We'll get right around to that.
that.
Learning on the job, baby. Learning on. I blame YouTube for this one. I think this is their fault, not yours. Get right to it. Yes. Now then?
No. Now.
Oh, boy.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise this evening, and two things that matter. The Orioles do open up a series in Chicago against the White Sox. Brandon Young and Grant Taylor, the pitching matchup, 7:40 on Masson.
And you're going to break down Grant Taylor and everything.
Sure. And the national championship game on TBS and True TV, UConn and Michigan at 8:50, which is late. And we're going to complain about it, but I swear to God, I feel like they've normally started after 9 o'clock.
Well,
for
it probably
some
won't
reason,
start
so
until 9, right?
That might be true. Well, they got to do the Chainsmokers concert, obviously.
They're doing a Chainsmokers concert?
Were you not paying attention on Saturday?
No, it was
between the games, they did a Chainsmokers concert, and like everybody's like, "What the f?"
Chainsmokers is good.
Like it felt like it was.
They did the Closer song or whatever.
I'm sure they did. Okay. I did not watch. I was making deviled eggs. Oh, your pal made a critical error this weekend.
On the
deviled eggs were good.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't the problem. I said to my wife on Friday night, I realized while we were hosting and doing all the work for hosting, only thing I was making was I was grilling hot dogs for the kids. That was all I was doing. I'm like, that's not good. It's the whole family's coming over. Everybody's doing their jalapeno potatoes and their pineapple stuffing.
So you wanted to double up and add. So you wanted to do deviled eggs and dogs.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta do something.
Should have done deviled dogs.
I gotta cut deviled dogs. That's a heck of an idea. So I said, I'll make deviled eggs. Now I had never made deviled eggs before.
Oh.
Now I've consumed quite many deviled eggs, but I had never made them. So she said to me, well, how many do you want to make? I'm like, I think about 40, right? Because like there's 20 some people, and normally you're gonna eat multiple deviled eggs, right? Like. And there's enough of all the other food. Like, I just want to add to the pile. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'll make deviled eggs. So I'm like, I think I'm going to go get me, and I don't know why I said this. I said, get me 40 eggs. Well, of course,
they come in.
Well, 40 eggs is going to make how many deviled eggs?
Oh, yeah. Well, that would make 80 eggs.
That would make 80 deviled eggs, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't need 40 eggs, Griffin. I needed 20 eggs. When did it strike me?
We'll bring some tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll eat them.
We do have some leftover deviled eggs if you like. When did it strike me that
probably after you
had
hard-boiled 40
100% after I had hard-boiled all of the eggs. My younger son was helping me with that part of the process. He was helping me with the boiling and peeling of the eggs. And I swear to God, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, no. And at that point, what are you going to do? So we just made 80 deviled eggs, baby.
Nice.
80 deviled eggs. Giving some to my mother-in-law, but I still have some deviled eggs at home. God, man. Anyway.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that on Saturday. I was not watching the Chainsmokers concert. Everything else, go to GlennClarkRadio.com.
The big one, obviously, Star Wars Maul, The Shadow Lord, new series on Disney Plus. That should be good. Sequel to like the
Darth
Clone
Maul?
Wars. Yes, it is about Darth Maul.
Right.
Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm very excited.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you say so.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Very good.
It's the season 2 finale of St. Dennis Medical.
Oh, that's a bummer. I like that show.
Yeah.
I could have gone for that to be like a 40-episode season, honestly. Excellent. Thanks today to Ryan Ripken. Thanks also to Max Watkinson from Loyola. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Looks like Fallon's going to have... oh, wait, that's tomorrow night. Sorry. Cardi B and Alex Earl. And Terrence Mac... Oh, wait, no, that's a rerun.
So nothing then.
Lisa Ann Walter and Jason Segel. Jason Segel, sorry.
Jason Segel. Is Lisa Ann
on
Walter
Kimmel,
from Abbott Elementary.
Yes, they'll be on Kimmel. They'll be on
I
Kimmel.
like both of them. A good deal. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program, we're catching a Rico case. Rico Garcia scheduled to join us tomorrow to talk about, hopefully, the Orioles getting back in the win column tonight, but also his excellent start to the year and where he became a tightrope walker. Like, did he just go out one day and hop on a slack line and say, let's see how this works? I want to know more about that. And also tomorrow, I don't know. There's something else that might be happening tomorrow, but we'll see.
I think we'll talk college sports, though.
Oh, Patrick Stevens.
Yes, Patrick
tomorrow.
Georgia.
Love that. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Orioles, Live Casino and Hotel, Costas Inn, Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Cruise Maryland, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Quigley's Half Irish Pub, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.